Aloha everyone, and welcome back. I know I haven't been making a lot of videos, but I wanted to share with you guys what's been going on. As the title says, I'm too young for back problems. The answer is no. Okay. I'm going to share with you guys the most painful and depressing 10 months of my life so far. This is what I've been dealing with. So first off, I'm going to talk a little bit about my history. Okay. I started at a young age, around 5 or 6 years old. My dad was an entrepreneur, and he used to sell at the swap meet or the flea market, and we used to go every Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. And at a very young age, I always wanted to lift heavy. You know, I grew up watching superheroes like most of everybody have, so I always wanted to be strong. So at a young age, I started lifting heavier than I should have. But, you know, it never bothered me. I never paid attention to it. I just wanted to be strong. As I got older, you know, of course I played sports. And when I got into high school is when I started playing football. And I started lifting heavy, ridiculous amount of weights. And of course, they suggest not to lift heavy at that age because our bodies are still, you know, they're still growing. It could stunt your growth, or it could give you problems in the future, you know, and it could be true. But at that time, I didn't care. Right after high school, I joined the military. I went to infantry. And of course, everybody knows infantry, right? We're carrying 100+ pounds on our back, walking 10, 20, 30 miles. You know, we're just humping it everywhere, and that's what infantry is. And same thing, I didn't pay attention to my body. I was trained not to listen to my body, to ignore the pain, to keep on going as if any of it didn't matter. And I loved it. I mean, I loved infantry. It was hardcore, and that's what I wanted to be, you know. And whenever you get injured, all they tell you to do is just drink water, right? Sorry, I had to pause for a second. So, like I was saying, in infantry, you know, if you're ever injured, they just tell you to drink water, and that's it, you know. They train you to ignore pain, you know, and that's required for soldiers, right? So, you know, lifting that heavy weight, it pretty much was the start of having sore back, sore knees. And then as an adult, you know, I continued to lift heavy. And that's just what it was, you know. I always wanted to be the strongest guy in the room. You know, I grew up with some issues, which I'll talk about in other videos, but, you know, I always wanted to be the strongest. So anyways, in 2010, I got injured at work. I was lifting something very heavy, and I couldn't just straight lift it, so I dragged it about 20 yards, and then finally when I got it to where I was supposed to load it, someone finally came to help, and we lifted it, and I didn't turn my feet, I just twisted and threw it into the vehicle, and pain shot down my legs, and I dropped to the ground. Didn't know what happened. So it took me almost a year to recover from that injury. You know, I was going to physical therapy and all that, and it took me about a year to recover, and I got strong once again, and that was in 2010, and last year in September 2020, of course COVID happened in early of last year, and everything shut down. You know, our gyms shut down, and you know, we wasn't able to work out, and it wasn't my fault. You know, I instead of staying physically active, I just got lazy, you know. I didn't exercise. My body started, getting weak because I wasn't doing anything. You know, everything started getting stiff. And, you know, as COVID was going on, I was getting bored at home. So I was like, hey, you know, I want to get a job to at least stay busy. So I got a job. And then September of last year, I re-injured my back. I was hand stacking bricks for about 4 hours on pallets. And, you know, I felt my back getting aggravated, but same thing. I'm taught to ignore it. So I just, I kept going because I wanted to complete my job. That was what my assignment was. And, throughout the day and through the night, pain started going more and more. And then as the days went on, it was shutting my back down. And it became painful. But, I just started working there. And I always like to show up. I don't like to quit or anything. So I kept going to work 5 days a week in pain. And instead of listening to my body, I ignored it. I kept going to work. The pain was getting so bad that it began hard for me to even drive to work. But the good thing is, work is only, I think, about 3 miles away from my house. But I would still go. I would get to work. I would walk slow because it was just painful. Like I could barely move, but I still walked. As the weeks went on, I was in so much pain from just standing up that sometimes I would have to lean on the shelves and just pray that I can just make it. Most of you guys don't know what that's like. Coming from what I was capable of to barely even walking. Like I said, most people don't know what it feels like. I came from a very physically active lifestyle to barely even moving. After weeks and weeks of pain, in the beginning of December 2020 is when I had to throw in the towel. I had to tell my workplace that I couldn't handle it anymore. I could barely even walk. So I took off of work, and that's when my body just shut down. Just like that. I woke up one day and I couldn't move. I tried my best to move, and weeks leading up to that, when I'm at home, sometimes I would have to crawl to places. But that morning I woke up, I couldn't move. I became partially paralyzed from the waist down. I don't know how to explain the feeling to you guys. The feel of it physically, mentally, emotionally, I can't explain it. I became bedridden. And coming from someone that's very independent to becoming very dependent. I am thankful for my wife that helped me through it. Pride and ego aside, I couldn't move. She would have to bring my food to the bed. And she would have to give me bed baths. Something I never had to deal with. My depression got very, very bad. One day, I wanted to go to the ER to see if they could help me. And Christmas was coming up in a couple days. So I decided to wait until after Christmas to go to the ER. I missed so much holidays with my kids that I wanted to be there, even though I'm in pain. So Christmas came, December 25th, and then December 26th, which was a Saturday, I admitted myself to the ER to see if they could help me in any way, shape, or form with the pain. I waited for about 4 hours to be seen, and all they did was give me an IV and took x-rays, but there was no help. So I got back home, and that's just what it was. New Year's 2021. What a way to start a new year. My depression was at its worst. I was not able to do what I used to be able to do. I became very dependent on my family to help me with daily functions. But the number one thing that hurted me the most was that I couldn't carry my daughter. At that time, she was 2 years old. And that's what hurted me the most, was I wasn't physically strong enough to carry my daughter. And you know, little kids, especially little girls, you know, they always want to be carried by daddy, right? Either carried or sit on my lap or something. But I wasn't physically able to carry her for months. That's the worst part of this entire injury. And at that age, they don't fully understand why. You know, you can say, oh, daddy is sore, but they don't really understand why. Anyways, before I became paralyzed waist down, you know, I wanted to try one of those inversion tables. I figure, you know, it could help with my recovery, so I bought one. And I tell you, it would make my pain worse. I guess an inversion table was too aggressive for the current state that my back was in. You know, I would get on the inversion table, and then as soon as I start going backwards, the pain is just unbearable. You know, I thought it would help, but again, I know nothing about recovering from injuries. It's something I never had to really face before, especially something this major. So, in January of 2021 is when I started to walk again. It's like I had to learn how to walk for the first time. I started getting feeling in my leg. Started learning how to walk. I had to use a cane. wouldn't wish this on anybody. In February is when I started therapy. And the same, it was very difficult for me to drive, but there was no way else I could get there. So in pain, I would have to drive myself to therapy. And we started with aquatherapy. One hour of aqua, and after that, 1 hour massage. And I would go 2 to 3 times a week. As weeks went on, it switched from aqua to land therapy, because that's how you know you're strong enough, is when you can, handle land therapy. It requires more strength. I did a epidural injection in my spine, and it was only temporary relief for maybe 4 or 5 days. Just this whole experience is one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. I went through a lot, but this is very different. Through the x-rays and the MRIs that I've done, the issues that they have found, and I guess I've developed throughout my lifetime so far. I have 3 degenerative discs, severe sciatica, and also spinal stenosis. My first injury in 2010, the pain of my sciatic would run down my left leg, but this injury, it's going down my right leg, and it shoots down all the way into my feet. Even like this, like how I'm sitting, I wasn't able to even sit like this. The only partial relief that I would have would be to lay down, but even if I lay down in certain ways, there was no relief. I grew up sleeping, I guess I'm a stomach sleeper. I would either sleep on my stomach or my side. I couldn't sleep on my back. And, because of the injury, I've learned that sleeping on your stomach is the worst sleeping position. Besides what the doctors and the therapist told me, of course I did my research. Sleeping on your stomach is the worst. But, I had to sleep on my side, and I started learning a lot too. It's good to sleep with a pillow between your legs, and Who'd have thought, you know? But there is a lot that I've learned through this. You know, the biggest things that I've learned is patience, you know. Growing up, I wasn't a very patient person. And of course, over time, as I got older, I learned patience, especially being in the military. And I was also a bouncer for 15 years. You know, you learn patience, you know, dealing with people. But this taught me even more patience. And another thing that it taught me was humility. No matter how badass you are or you think you are, your body can always shut down and it'll make you feel like nothing. Patience and humility is the main things that this has taught me. Four things that I would like to share with you guys that also you guys should also pay attention to. And these four things has helped me, been helping me, and will continue to help me in my recovery. Is one, listen to your body. You know, in the military, we're taught to ignore the pain. But listen to your body. You're not superhuman. You know, if your body's telling you something, listen. If you're in pain, listen. You know, if I listen to my body, then maybe me being partially paralyzed could have been prevented. If I stopped working sooner and stopped pushing it, maybe I could have recovered faster. The second thing that's very important is stretching. You know, I didn't take stretching seriously. Playing sports, going to the gym, you know, I would stretch what I thought was a decent amount, but it was never enough. Stretching is a very big key to recovery and even staying so you don't get injured. It was hard for me to stretch in the beginning. I will make some videos of my beginning recovery, you know, some stretches and stuff that I've done in the very beginning because it was just painful for me to do. But stretch. The third thing was hydrate. You know, another thing that I am guilty of is hydrating. You know, I don't drink enough water. I push myself. No matter what it is, I push myself, and, you know, water is not top priority. But I tell you what, it is. How can your body function if you're not hydrated enough, or if your muscles are stiff? You can't perform at full capacity. Hydration, you know, your body is made up of 80% of water. How are you supposed to? You can't. And if you're not hydrated, your body, your muscles are not hydrated, your body will shut down. And the fourth thing that I want you guys to keep in mind or pay attention to is eating healthier. Now, I'm not saying going on a diet, okay? Eating healthy and going on a diet is two different things. I'm not on a diet, but I decided to eat healthier. Healthy body equals a strong body. You know, I would always eat fast food every day or whatnot. I would eat ice cream every day, candy every day. But a healthy body equals a strong body. Those four things is what I cannot stress enough to you guys, is listen to your body, stretch, hydrate, and eat healthy. Not a diet, just eating healthy, better choices, should I say. You know, because me eating junk food was making me heavy, and being heavy with a back injury, knee injury, you're just putting on more weight that your body has to support. Eating healthier, you know, you lose weight, it's easier to recover. Now, I want to talk about my motivation. My motivation for not giving up was my family. During this injury, I became so depressed that I didn't want to continue. My family has always been my motivation to get stronger. My motivation is to carry my daughter, just to be able to pick her up and carry her and hold her. Being strong enough to just drive to the park or to the beach to make them happy is my motivation. This injury has also motivated me to go to massage school. Now, of course, I'm still recovering and I'm not 100% better, but every day I exercise because we're almost into August. In fact, I think August is this Sunday, August 1st, and on August 23rd, I already registered and I start massage school. Now I want to be strong and able to start and finish it. Nobody knows what it's like to be paralyzed until you actually are. Or to not be able to do simple basic functions like carry your daughter or walk to the bathroom or just stand. It motivated me, and in a few weeks I start massage school. For once, I want to use my hands to be able to heal people. I was a troubled kid growing up. I was Army infantry. I was a bouncer. I worked for the government. My hands only know destruction. But now, I want to use my hands to be able to heal people because I know what it's like. It's been the worst 10 months of my life, but I'm still pushing forward. pain and depression is unbearable. But I have to push forward for my family. If you're not dying, you got no excuse to push forward. Even when you're dying, you still push. You don't give up. I'm still recovering, and I exercise every day. I will post recovery and exercise videos so you guys can see the beginning phases of just basic stretches, which was very painful for me to do. But it's beginning phases, and then I'll make some videos of, what I'm capable of doing now. But I just wanted to share with you guys what I've been going through for the past 10 months. And I really appreciate all your guys' love and support. Those that personally know me and see me on a weekly basis, and for asking if I'm okay. Physically, I'm getting better, but emotionally, it's hard. But I do appreciate all the love and support that I've been getting. Mahalo for watching this, and hopefully some of you can relate, maybe even motivate you guys to push forward, no matter if it's an injury or something that has affected you and hurt you. Push forward. You don't stop pushing until you're dead. That's when you stop. But until then, you have to keep pushing. Be kind to people, love one another. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching and listening.